So when you're the first person at the traffic lights, it can be quite easy to get distracted. You might be looking around, or you might be looking down here, and then you don't see the light change to green and not move. This can be a serious fault, especially if you start affecting people behind you. So whenever you're at the front of the lights, make sure you're paying attention to the traffic lights so that when they change, you can move straight away without affecting anybody. So like now it's green, I'm supposed to be moving. If I took too long, it could then affect people behind me. So this is the Pelican crossing here. So when the flashing amber lights are on, I should be moving now because this is the same as the green light. And some people wait for the green light to come on first before they start moving. And that could get you into trouble because it shows you don't understand how those lights work. You need to make sure that once it's flashing amber and there's no one in front of you, you start moving. So once I turn left now, that light that's on the left does not apply to us. So this light over here that's red, it doesn't apply to us anymore because that's for this kind of cars and those cars that are behind us. But some people would stop in the middle of the junction there thinking that light applies to them, and that's how you're going to get a serious fault because you're not really aware of the rules and what lights apply to you. So once you've turned, those lights that are now red don't apply to you. The best way to figure out whether that light applies to you or not is if it's got no line next to it, then it doesn't apply to you. So if there's no stop line by the lights, they don't apply to you. If there's a stop line there, then those lights do apply to you. So just like once I've turned here, you see these lights here do apply to me because there's a line here. If these lights were red, I would have to stop here. So this is the Pelican crossing here. So when the flashing amber lights are on, I should be moving now because this is the same as the green light. And some people wait for the green light to come on first before they start moving. And that could get you into trouble because it shows you don't understand how those lights work. You need to make sure that once it's flashing amber and there's no one in front of you, you start moving. So here I'm turning right and I'm waiting for any oncoming traffic. Then once they've gone, like this last car here, I should move now. And sometimes people take too long staying in the middle there, and then that's gonna cause this traffic to now start coming towards you. And if you do that, that's gonna be a serious fault. So you notice there, once the light went to amber on the other side, and there's no one else coming down, I started moving. You don't wanna keep waiting in the middle there, because if you do, you're gonna end up blocking the whole junction and causing issues for lots of people around you. So when the light's been green for a long time, there's a strong chance that it's gonna go red, and you need to think about when you're gonna stop and when you're not gonna stop. And what some people do is when the light goes to amber, they might brake really late and affect the people behind them. So to avoid that, make sure you're picking a point of no return so that if it starts to change to amber, you're not gonna stop too dangerously. If it starts to change to amber and you can stop before you get to the lights and you can stop smoothly, you should then stop. If you have to brake really hard to stop your car, you shouldn't stop unless it's red. But to avoid all that in the first place, slow down if it's been green for a long time, reduce your speed and be ready for it to change to red. So there's gonna be a point when the light changes to amber. So like now. So that's how you wanna stop. So there I had lots of time to stop and it was safe for me to do so. So you stop in that kind of ambers. As weird as it might sound, some people might not actually see the red light and then they'll try to go through it, or they might go so far past the line that now they're going to get a serious fault for going through a red light because they've gone past the line. So to avoid that, make sure the light is green first before you try to move. Even if the person next to you starts moving, make sure that your light is green, because sometimes they have a green light but you've got a red light. And then also make sure you're picking a point where you can actually full stop so you don't go over the line, because going over the line will be the same as going through a red light. So temporary traffic lights also have to be paid attention to. So this one is red, so you need to make sure that you're looking out for the sign that tells us where to stop. There's usually a red sign just like there. It tells us when the light is red, wait here. So we look out for that, because if you went past this or you go through the light, that's going to be a serious fault. So right now I'm on a 20-mile-an-hour road, and it can be quite easy for me to go too fast here and break the speed limit if I'm not careful. So best way to avoid this is, before I accelerate, is to look at my speedo. And if I'm already doing 20 or just below 20, it doesn't make sense for me to add lots of gas, because otherwise I'll go too fast. A nice easy way to as well is if I listen out to the note of the engine. So around this sort of note, it's 20 miles per hour. But if I increase my gas, the note changes on the engine. Therefore, I'm more likely to be going faster at that stage. So if you just listen out to the engine, it will kind of warn you when you're going faster, or when you're going faster than you should do. And then to confirm, just look at your speed. In the first place, you need to know what the speed limit for that road is, and finding out the speed limit can be quite tricky if you're not used to it. The best way to do this is to play a game with yourself or play a game with your driving instructor and say the speed limit out every time you see it. So there I see it says 20, so I'll say it out loud, 20, and then so now I know it's 20 miles per hour. The next one that I see, I'll say it out loud as well, even if it's the same number. So that way, I train myself to keep looking out for the speed limit. I always get asked if you can fail for going too slow. And the answer is yes, you can fail for going too slowly as well. So if the speed limit, let's say, is 30 and you're doing 20 or even below for no reason, you could end up failing. Or sometimes this can happen on a national speed limit road, on country roads, dual carriageways, and if you're not confident in going fast, you can easily drive too slowly and end up failing. So to avoid that kind of thing, first of all, you need to know what the speed limit is, and then secondly, you need to get used to driving fast. So practice before your test on fast roads like the dual carriageway, country roads, even motorways with your driving instructor, so that you're comfortable doing high speeds. Now right now I'm really close to this car here. This is a fault that lots of learners make. Once they move off now, because they've stopped to let someone through, they get way too close to that parked car over there. To avoid that, let's say I had to stop here for somebody and someone's coming down. Look how much space I've left between me and this car here, so that when it's time for me to move now, I can just check my mirror and then I've got lots of space to clear that car without getting too close to it. And on these kind of roads, you're supposed to stay in the middle of the road because there's not space to drive on the left. But what you see some learners do is they'll try to squeeze or try to be really close to the left-hand side, and you see that mirror there, it's even been knocked because someone was driving too close. So this kind of fault can happen without you realizing. And if you are getting this close, even if you don't clip the cars that are parked up, there's a chance that you're going to fail for this. So this kind of roads, make sure you're positioned towards the middle of the road and not too close to the left. When you're following other vehicles, you want to make sure you keep a nice distance between you and the vehicle in front. So right now, I can see everything that's on the floor between me and this car. This gives me time so that if he brakes, I have time to react and I don't get too close to him. Getting too close to other vehicles can happen even on big roads like this. And you see some learners get really close to the bus, and at the last second they'll turn away. So that'll be too close like that. You want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of space, and if there's not enough room to do that, you need to either slow down a lot more or maybe even stop. And when you're stopping behind another car, you want to make sure you can see the tires touching the floor, just like with this car here. If you can't see the tires touching the floor, then you're stopping way too close. When you're on the dual carriageway, unless you're overtaking somebody, you should be in the left-hand lane. And driving in the middle lane or the right lane for no reason is going to get you a serious fault. You're not going to get a fault straight away, but if you stay there for too long and you don't fix it, then that can be a problem. If you've realized that it should be in the left, you can start checking your mirrors, signal, and move your way over to the left safely. So using a bus lane when it's in operation is going to get you a serious fault straight away. Now, as we turn into this left here, there's a sign on the left that tells us that this bus lane cannot be used at any time. And the mistake some learners will make here is they'll turn sharply into the bus lane, and that's going to be a fault pretty much straight away. So if you don't know what the time of the bus lane is, don't drive in it. Only drive into it when you know the times that you're allowed to drive in it. If you're not sure of the time that you're allowed to use it, then stay out of it until you've checked the next board, because each time they'll have a board telling you whether you can use the bus lane or not. So I can see the next board now is still telling us that we can't use the next bus lane at any time, so you need to avoid it. And when you're turning left, we need to be in the left lane, but right now this is the bus lane. You don't want to turn into the left too early, so you can signal left nice and early, but right now I can't go into the lane until this line has finished. So once the line is finished, check my mirror one more time, and then I can go into the lane without going over the bus lane. So right now it's at 2:20 in the afternoon, and this bus lane can be used, so we should use it if it's clear. Now, you're not going to fail straight away if you don't use the bus lane when you can use it, but if you don't use the bus lane and then somebody undertakes you to go past you, that could be a fault. Or if you're trying to then turn left and then you have to cut across the bus lane and someone's there, that could also be a problem. So if the bus lane is not in operation, you should make sure that you use it. Just like this one, we know it's not in operation because of the times. It's 7 to 10 a.m. so I can use this one And then further down I can see that it's finished, so I can check my mirrors, signal, and then come out nice and early. But at this point here it's 2 lanes, but once you go past the lights it's going to turn into 1 lane. And here you got to make sure that you're checking your mirror on the right hand side, because that's where the lane is. So we're coming from the left and the lane on the right is merging with our lane, so we're going to make sure you're checking that mirror. If you don't check that mirror and someone's there, or if you don't check that mirror and then you keep doing it and you're showing the examiner that you don't really realize that lanes are merging, that's going to be a serious fault on your test. So make sure when you see cars coming together, or if you see curved arrows on the floor showing you that the lanes are merging, you want to make sure that you're checking the mirror of the side that you're not on. When it comes to overtaking people, you should only overtake people from the right hand lane. So passing other traffic using the left lane, so going past this lorry or going past this van here, wouldn't be a good idea. I should actually slow down for them or match their speed, but if I want to overtake them, I can go round to the right and then overtake them. So this is okay to drive past the slow traffic on the right like this, because they're moving slowly or stopping because they're in traffic, so we can go past them using the left hand lane. If the traffic is moving normally, we shouldn't be passing them on the left, because that would be classed as undertaking and it's not allowed. When you're coming off the dual carriageway, you want to go into the slip road nice and early. So what you see some people do is they'll avoid it like this, and then at the last second they'll then turn in like that. But really, as soon as the slip road opened up, you should go into the slip road as early as possible, so that you're out of the way of the cars that are going past you on the dual carriageway.